Sometimes you're out and about and you have these ideas, right? And as a content creator, we can be, uh, I don't want to say the word slave, but we could be married to the content that we have to put on paper. So I was out and about today. Didn't really want to do a ride with me because I wanted this to be highly produced. But I was listening to something else to wrestle with John Layfield. And if you don't know, he's taking over for Bruce Pritchard right now because Bruce is out dealing with family stuff. We wish him well wishes. But they was talking about the forbidden terms in professional wrestling, right? And the whole show is about Layfield's time as a commentator and Vince McMahon saying things in his ear and so forth. But one of the things that was just kind of said casually, and I said, oh, wait a minute, I got to talk about this. That was the fact that the era today is better than the Attitude Era, or could be. So coming up, I'm going to explain why I believe that the Paul Levesque era is better than the Attitude Era.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just going to keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. Perhaps the final episode of the year. I was sitting around and I was thinking about, okay, how do we wrap up a 2025, right? Shout out to the Wrestling Realm, to me, but yeah, shout out to my brothers, the real Dwayne Allen, Brother Hugh, and Brother Guy. Because I will say that we've been able to grow this brand tremendously in 2024, and I'm proud of it. So I got to give a huge shout out to those guys. I bring that up because I was thinking about content, right? And like I said, I was out riding about. To be honest with you, I went to a video game store. My god brother told me, check it out. They got retro games, and it was way overpriced. But I'm listening to something to wrestle with. I like to listen to pods while I'm driving. And they talked about this era, and some say it's better than the Attitude Era, right? Now, you will hear the later millennials, I'll call them, and some of them, yeah, more so the later millennials, because I actually just had this come out today, and they're still millennials, right? Some of them will say that the Ruthless Aggression Era is better. Now, I'm going to go ahead. So, just to bring this up. All right. 81 to 96. Actually, you know what? They're Gen Zers. So yeah, scratch that. The Gen Zers will say that the Ruthless Aggression Era is better than the Attitude Era. Now, the Gen Xers may say the Golden Era was better. Me being a millennial, and I love being a millennial one, it's millennial. It's not no Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, which is coming up next year. Tomorrow, I should say Wednesday will be the birth. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday will be the birth of the Gen Betas. But I love being a millennial, right? A lot of us tend to side with the Attitude Era. Now, unless you like my brother Corey, shout out to my Kicks on My Figs, he tends to go with the New Generation Era as his favorite, right? I was sitting there thinking, and I thought about this, right? I've always said that I'm glad that during the Attitude Era, there was a lot of kayfabe in professional wrestling for me. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know. I didn't know about the message boards. I didn't know about the dirt sheets. Hell, to be honest with you, up until midway through 99, I thought it was still all kayfabe. I thought it was all real. That was really who was better on this night. And I love that for me. But with that being said, there's no era like the present. Now, I was at WrestleMania Night 2. Actually, just watched this again today. It was WrestleMania Night 2, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WrestleMania 40. And Stephanie McMahon came out there and said, oh, welcome to the Paul Levesque era. Now, when you think about the Paul Levesque era, You think about Roman Reigns, you think about Cody Rhodes, you think about Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. Then you gotta think about people like Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and so many more, right? Now you think about the Attitude Era, you think about Triple H, Austin, Rock, Undertaker. You think about Sable, Sunny, Jacqueline. But the reason why I have to say that this era is better, here's why. You think about the money that's being made. They are printing money, but it's also bigger deals, right? As a publicly traded company, they have been able to make wrestling trend. Now, even before this era, right, that reality era, you would see that wrestling Twitter dominated. You would see trending on Twitter right now, WWE. But now WWE has gone to new levels. To be able to have Netflix want to air your programming beginning next week, every week, WWE will be on Netflix. And not only does that come with professional wrestling every Monday, it also comes with a library of things, Netflix specials. So the access already makes it better. Now, DVD sales were through the roof. VHS sales was through the roof during the Attitude Era. You did have merchandise, toys and lunch boxes, yo-yos, you name it. But now so is that. Now, don't get me wrong. The Attitude Era crawled so this era could run. But again, the biggest thing when I think about the reason why this era is better, long-term stability. This right here is sustainable, folks. Hear me out. The Attitude Era kept going, and then boom, it crashed. We went into the Ruthless Aggression Era. Then they dialed it back. No more blood, no more chair shots. Also, the target audience, 18 to 35, started watching UFC. When you look at this era, this a reoccurring audience. We was on Those Wrestling Girls Collision the other day, TWG Collision. Shout out to my lady Queen PR. We joined Krista B, Pablo the Don, and Christina Contreras. And Ciendo, I'm sorry, Ciendo was there too. Justin wasn't there. Shout out to my brother Justin. But we talked about certain things. And one of the points I brought up was there are certain fan bases, but it's just going to continue on, right? I've been one to say, no, I don't want to see Bianca turn heel. But understanding there's somebody waiting right there. There's another Black woman, whether she's on NXT or in the Performance Center, NXT Level Up. Because if you look at that roster, they are deep. So there are people waiting, right? Cody Rhodes is the baby face of the company. But unfortunately, if Cody was to get hurt, you got Roman Reigns right there who you can make him into a mega baby face or you can keep him as a tweener. You got Jey Uso, who's super over. Then you got Randy Orton, Randy Orton is the OG, but still. Then you can see, okay, what do you have in LA Knight, right? You got CM Punk, you got Seth Rollins. During the Attitude Era, we saw a hiccup that forced The Rock and Triple H, for that matter, to turn it up 10 notches come 2000. Because once Stone Cold Steve Austin got hurt, it's like, what do we do? Well, you have Rock as the baby face, you know? So you look at that. Years ago, when the real Dwayne Allen and I did this, 2013 to be exact, we talked about the Shield, and he said the Shield would be one of the most impactful factions. He's telling the truth. Now, Dean Ambrose has moved on to different pastures and become Jon Moxley, and he's doing his things, the AEW World Champion. Meanwhile, you have Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as pillars of the WWE. So when you look at this era, it's sustained better. There wasn't a performance center. There was OVW at the time, and OVW got everybody trained up and ready. But, a lot of times it's coming from, the indies and whatnot. WWE is in a position where they can train their superstars the exact way they want them. So that's what makes this interesting. But like I said, I believe this era is better because when you look at everything, you look at the biggest thing is not only the money, also doing this in social media. A lot of stuff, if cancel culture was a thing, would have been canceled in the Attitude Era. But let's say it wasn't. Would the wrestlers been able to handle being able to pick up their phone as soon as they get to the back and see that somebody didn't like something? Would they been able to handle it? I don't know. And this is, again, no disrespect to the Austins, the Rocks, the Midians, the Visceras, the Tories. No disrespect to them. But when I look at this era, this is the best time to be a professional wrestling fan. It's also cool. See, the Attitude Era was sort of cool, but let's not act like people ain't make fun of you, right? And as soon as it kind of started tinkling down, you saw people run and jump at the bit and say, see, yeah, I don't watch that fake shit no more. Now look at this now, right? You look at this era, again, it's sustainable. You look at the way the businesses go, well, you already can kind of see who's next in line, next up. Your Braun Breakers, your Obafemis, your Trick Williams, your Carmelo Hayes. You can see it. You can look at NXT. You got guys like Wesley. And you're getting wrestling almost every day of the week. 3 days a week versus 2 days a week. Big difference because you're also getting two different type of shows, right? Let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, Raw and SmackDown sort of the same. You're getting two different types of shows with NXT being your developmental brand. And then also just look at the women. That right there alone. They are wrestling. They are being respected for their in-ring ability, but they not shying away for how good they look. Come on now, we ain't stupid. The women gonna thirst over Roman Reigns. They gonna thirst over Finn Balor. And the men gonna thirst over Jada Parker. And the men gonna thirst over Rhea Ripley and women. So that's a part of the business. But they don't have to, they can do it in their way. Not so much pressure like, oh, I gotta make sure I show more in order to get the attention. So like I said, the business is in a different spot. I'm loving it, but I was thinking about that. I want to know, what do you think? Is the Triple H era, the Paul Levesque era? And y'all know, I'm not really big on Triple H books this and this, then I like to let the stories play out. But for the sake of this conversation, is the Paul Levesque era better than the era that he helped push forward, the Attitude Era? But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all your support throughout 2024. Thank you for everything. And I just want y'all to know, I truly, truly appreciate it. And I want y'all to have a happy and safe, please have a safe new year. Let's do this again in 2024. Until the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. So long, everybody.